Ahoy there, listeners, and welcome to a festive episode of the Captain's Horror Meltdown. My name is Cammy, and as always, I'll be your captain on this journey. And I'm joined, as ever, by our log handler.
Oh, whoa, hang on. What?
John. Log handler, why? Well, because it's the Christmas holidays. We have
Jesus Christ.
We have docked for the festive holidays, and we're now back at Meltdown HQ. We've got a roaring fire by our side, and John's job for the evening is to keep the fire stoked.
Excellent. I've got to say, when you first said log handler, I was like, what kind of log are we talking here?
we're talking wooden logs, so it's fine. Don't you worry.
That's great.
Excellent. Yeah.
Well, give everyone a heads up. We are having technical troubles, so
we are having technical troubles.
Might not sound. Well, I'm not going to say every episode sounds tremendous, but might be a few. Yes, but you'll be drunk on mead and port, so who gives a shit?
Oh God. Well, it's been a bit of a disaster so far tonight, hasn't it?
I would say, yeah, we've probably spent longer trying to get this sorted out than the actual 2 episodes we're about to record will be.
Yeah, what's that? Maybe an hour and a half or something since the first lockdown, an hour and a quarter.
Jesus.
And it's still not fixed, and I've got no idea what's wrong. I think I'm potentially worried that my microphone's just fucked. I'm going to have to buy a new one.
Well, on the bright side, I managed to make some Christmas presents, so,
Well, that's a bonus, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So are you feeling festive?
I'm stuffed and a little bit drunk. So
yes.
Yes, I am feeling festive. I'm also feeling the pressure as the father of a 6-year-old.
Oh yeah.
It has been fucking insane the last couple of weeks.
Is she full Christmas?
Oh, full Christmas. She's gone full Christmas. It's fucking absolutely brutal. And I know that I'm going to be a little bit rough tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be awake at like 5 in the morning or something stupid like that.
If you're lucky.
There's no way around it. Yeah.
No. This is not
torture.
An advert for children.
No.
Everyone's like, well, if you decide not to have children, this will only reinforce those views.
Yeah.
Yes.
Christ.
So, what are we doing this episode? We're not reviewing a film as such.
We're not reviewing a film as such. We're just going to have a little chit chat about Christmas horror films.
Yeah.
Nice little subgenre.
Yep, scan through. There is. I must say, when I decided to Google Christmas horror films, there's a lot out there.
There are quite a lot out there.
And I was quite surprised how many I'd seen.
Well,
I was really surprised.
I was surprised at how few I'd seen.
Really?
Which is a bit of a surprise. But I mean, I guess we should just. We're not going to talk about anything in particular, I don't think, are we? We're just going to sort of plunge headlong in. I mean, what was your? This is an interesting question, because one of the films I've watched over the last couple of days, I'd never seen before. It transpires it was a bit of a Christmas tradition for you when you were a student. Yes. So, I'll just say straight away that when I think of Christmas horror films that I really, really like, I would say my classics were Gremlins from a young age.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Is it really a horror film? It's a 12
I think it is. It
still is, isn't it? It still is.
I mean, it's got a bit of, there's some gore in there.
Yeah.
Has gore,
Billy's,
creatures, all kinds of things.
Is there not? Is it Phoebe Cates' dad that has died up the chimney?
Yes. Which is a horrendous story.
Fucking absolutely horrific, isn't it?
I was actually just around one of Alexander's friends today, and we were discussing Gremlins, and it was like, what's a 12 now? And then we started thinking about what was actually in the film and going, no, they can't watch that for quite a while.
Well, I actually said to Esme the other day, I was like, oh, great news, I see that Gremlins is a 12A now, so you can watch it with me, because I think it's fine. And Marianne made it incredibly clear that was absolutely not happening. Absolutely no way.
I think it's a wise decision.
Probably, actually. I was maybe being a bit rash.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking the same thing the other day, and then I watched with Alexander the original. Well, I'll say the original, but the Jim Carrey Grinch film.
Oh yeah.
Which made me turn off because it was too scary.
Well,
but it is very kind of shot of those kind of strange, out of kilter angles and lots of faces close to cameras. It's like, as soon as I saw it happening, it was like, he's going to ask me to turn this off. And so it transpired.
So Gremlins is a good starting point. Having seen that quite young, I'm also a big fan of rare exports.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a Christmas tradition for a while for me.
Slightly more modern.
Very much. But completely took me by surprise when I first went to see it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think I went to see it in the Cameo in Edinburgh when it first came out.
Yeah,
and it's dark.
Yeah, well, I went to see it, and then I tricked Marianne, who hates horror films, into going to see it by telling her it was a Christmas film. And she actually ended up loving it, but she also fucking hated it, and I got in deep shit for that. It was if I'd done the same thing to Rachel, I wouldn't be speaking to you right now. Yeah, no, totally murdered, brutal, absolutely brutal.
Actually, I do remember a Gremlins. I've got a very small Gremlins story. That's myself and Rachel before they were children, and we were out with some friends. This is when I really first got a projector. I think it was an SD projector.
Oh yeah, oof. Fine for watching old DVDs.
Yes, so that's why I had Gremlins on DVD, and also but it was a small flat, so I didn't have, and it had weird wallpaper, so I couldn't project onto the wall. So I got a screen, so you had to erect the screen every time you wanted to, and then bring the projector out and try and align it, blah 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 blah.
Oh, God.
But we were so pissed that by the time I'd got the film to start, I looked round and everyone had fallen asleep.
Amazing.
So that still comes up as a topic of conversation every time we go out.
And then you watched it yourself, absolutely blind drunk.
For 5 minutes, then I fell asleep.
Yeah, classic. Textbook. Well, I tried to desperately catch up a little bit over the last couple of days, and I started off by watching Jack Frost.
Oh yes,
1997, I believe. Wow. I mean, first up, I'll say, I think I've always seen the sleeve for that and just been like, that looks like absolute horseshit.
The sleeve's terrible.
It also came out about a year later. A family film called Jack Frost came out.
Yes, much confusion.
Much confusion. But I did notice when I was sort of searching for some Christmas horrors to watch that it was my current favourite Blue Label, Vinegar Syndrome, had released Jack Frost.
I was astounded when you told me
it's
that.
It's a pretty late film for it. I mean, most of their stuff's like pretty early doors, or sort of old 70s, 80s stuff, but late 90s, and man, that film took me by surprise. What a fucking hoot. I mean, cheap
good fun
as fuck. What was the market for it? It feels like a very early version of those Sharknado style films.
That's probably a fair description.
Those what channel is it that makes all that stuff? Sci-fi.
So you basically think it's bullshit, really.
Absolute bullshit, but thoroughly enjoyable. What a fucking riot!
And
a giant snowman, serial killer. It's like turns into snowman through shonky science and then murders everybody in the town.
Very shocking science. But yeah, our Christmas tradition was to fire on Jack Frost. It wasn't a long Christmas tradition, maybe 2-3 years or something. And our tradition was to fire that on whilst drinking Frosty Jack's cider.
It's absolutely perfect, though, isn't it? It's absolutely. It's what you. I mean, while I was watching it, I was thinking, I could maybe go a wee glass of Frosty Jack here. Well, I say a glass. I mean a plastic bottle.
Yeah, big old 3 litre.
And it was
£12 now.
I mean, oh fucking hell! That's the thing, isn't it? Minimum pricing. Jesus.
Oof. Bye Frosty.
Jack Frost. I would say. If you like, really shit, daft horror films.
Yeah, if you're a fan of trash, get involved.
Absolute trash. I would say get involved. And notable as well for being a very early appearance by Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Who we've discussed many a time in our old podcast about Kevin Smith.
Yep. Speaking of which, Holidays is one that we reviewed back in the day.
Yes,
and that has that's a little anthology style vibe, which I think there's quite a few of these Christmas ones do. Well, not quite a few, but there's a few that have the kind of anthology vibe, and there is that's one of the better ones actually in that film is the Christmas story. So the idea of Holidays is different director takes a different holiday throughout the year.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was on the Christmas one, but Seth Green is in it.
Yes.
And it's I'd say if you're a fan of Black Mirror, that would probably be right up your street.
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say about Holidays. It's usually kicking around and streaming, so we do give it a look. It's worthwhile.
It's not great.
It's not great, but
Netflix, isn't it? Is it on Netflix? I think it is.
It certainly was. I'm not going to say it's a great thing altogether, but there's definitely a few wee gems in there to be had.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
One of my favourite Christmas movies of recent times is a film called Better Watch Out.
Oh, what's Better Watch Out?
It's kind of a classic baby. It's it's a 10 years Christmas film. It's just set at Christmas,
right?
Really, like all these things. Classic kind of babysitter in peril sort of thing, but with a really nice twist, which I will not go into. But if that is streaming, I would definitely check it out. What I will say is it is absolutely ridiculous. You need to be in the mood. If you're going into it with a critical mind, just step away and watch something else.
Right.
But if you're in the mood to be entertained and accept absolute stupidity and madness and impossible situations, then Better Watch Out is a cracking little film.
When did it come out?
Only 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Right. Shit. I'm going to have to check it out.
Do. I think you'll enjoy it.
Excellent.
Did you also watch The Christmas Horror Story, or was that Dave?
No, that was Dave. Dave was talking about that. I didn't actually watch that, but that was the one with Shatner. William Shatner.
Yeah, William Shatner. Like a lot of these anthologies, are all tied together by something, and William Shatner is the thread in this film. He's a radio DJ.
Nuts, absolutely nuts.
It is pretty good fun, and if you want to see Santa fighting the Krampus, this is the film for you.
Well, who doesn't want to see Santa fighting Krampus?
Exactly. A mad person.
Yeah.
Like all I can imagine. But yeah, that's good fun. Again, it's sort of fairly anthology based, with a little twist at the end. I would recommend that.
Excellent.
I've got to say, one of our recent podcasts, Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yes, of course.
It's also a Christmas film, but I've got a strange feeling, although I've not listened back to it out of shame for not mentioning it. I don't think we even mentioned it was set at Christmas.
Yeah, we probably didn't. Oh, God. That's a bit of a disaster, wasn't it? And we both thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Good old Scottish-based zombie Christmas musical high school action.
Yep, and that is very, very recently come out, so you'll probably have to wait a wee while to check that out, because I presume it's gone from the cinemas now.
I'd imagine it's gone from the cinemas now, which feels like a bit of a shame, although it's been a bit of an action-packed time for the old cinemas, the old films at the minute, so yeah.
It has. We've had many a side mission.
Yeah.
To be honest, we've in the last episodes, we've had way more side missions, including this one, than actually continuing our chain. But I'm sure we'll get back onto it. We'll be fine.
We'll get it in the end. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I watched the other one I watched the other night was, in fact, I watched it straight after after I watched Jack Frost was a film called Christmas Evil.
Oh, right.
Which I think was also possibly originally called You Better Watch Out. But it was absolutely fantastic. I'd never seen it before. 1980. Really fucking dark, thoroughly enjoyable. I definitely recommend it. I'm more of a lot of these films seem to be about some sort of fantastical Christmas figure. This is just basically a descent into madness for a guy who has been traumatized as a youth by seeing Santa pump his mum.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he then has this sort of obsession with Christmas and Santa, and he basically wants to become Santa, and he keeps a list of good boys and girls and bad boys and girls in the neighbourhood and stuff. It's really fucking dark. It's really fucking dark. He works in a toy factory.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
okay.
It's fucking...
It sounds great.
It's fucking brilliant, actually. It really took me by surprise. Man,
what's it called again?
Christmas
Sorry?
Evil.
Christmas Evil.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check that
definitely
out.
check
I'm gonna
it.
make a little note of that.
Yeah.
Where did you watch it?
Vinegar Syndrome put it out on Blue.
Okay.
Yeah. It may be out there streaming as well. It might be one of these ones that you can maybe get hold of on, I don't know, maybe Amazon or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, I would have imagined. Now, what's the name of the horror streaming service? Shudder.
Shudder. Yes.
I've always...
yes.
In fact, I think I did sign up for it at one point.
When it first came out, I did. It was a free trial or whatever. But to my eyes, they were only streaming stuff in SD, and I was like, you can get that.
Yeah, it's unacceptable this day and age, isn't it? Surely, unacceptable.
So I'm presuming they've checked, because you can now actually get Shudder as a add-on to your Amazon if you've got Amazon. Because they were just standalone, but I think now they've partnered with Amazon.
So you just get it through Amazon Prime or something, do you?
Yeah, nice. $5.99 a month was the last I saw. So I might be tempted to check that out again. Hopefully they've upped their resolution game, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Did you see the most recent Krampus film?
No.
I'm going to recommend that.
Are
as
you?
Well.
Is it good? A belter?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was a belter, but it's one of those films. I didn't watch it for ages, and then it's like, oh fuck, it's there streaming. I'll just have a look at it, and yeah, totally, man, I enjoyed it.
Excellent. Is it?
I'd be amazed if it wasn't out streaming somewhere.
It must be. I mean, I'm actually surprised that there's been not more of a push on Netflix over here for Christmas films. I mean, they've got their own Christmas film, whatever it's called, the Christmas Chronicles, with Kurt Russell,
friend of the podcast,
Kurt Russell, big fan. Hey Kurt, how's it going?
Merry Christmas,
again, that invite is still open. You can come on the show whenever you want. I know your schedule's a bit difficult, but
well, he's just so nervous about talking live in here.
Well, you have to get him quite lubed up, don't you? You have to get him get a couple of beers in.
What?
Couple of beers, yeah.
Oh, right, I see.
Lubricated, well oiled,
okay.
Yes.
Right. Stop going down that route. Okay, let's.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I would have thought that. I mean, certainly if I was running Netflix, it'd be a whole different kettle of ballparks, really, wouldn't it? But I would.
There'd be no subscribers except me.
Yeah, totally. So same as this podcast then.
Yeah.
But I would definitely have had, when you turned it on at this time of year, I'd have had like family Christmas films, Christmas horror film. Do you know what I mean? But they don't really go down that route at all, which seems a bit weird. Seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. It's quite tricky to search for Christmas horror films. But I mean, as a horror fan, as a genre fan, I mean, it comes around every time of the year. You're like, I want to watch some Christmas horror film. You suddenly want to watch slasher films with Santa in them, don't you?
Well, I can tell you right now, speaking of Gremlins, as we record this, it's fucking on telly right now.
Really? I thought you were going to say, as we're recording this, it's about to turn midnight and someone is about to feed their mogwai. And we're all fucked. Because once it starts, that's it. It's fucking game over. You can't fucking stop it, can you? Jesus Christ almighty.
No, it's an endless trail of destruction. But I think Gremlins is actually streaming on either Netflix or Amazon at the minute.
Perfect.
If you've not seen it, for God's sake, sort yourself out.
Also, I've recently been thinking I might have to try and get some Gremlins 2 action on the go again. I've not actually not seen that since the cinema.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times since then. Yeah. It's great. It's
not Christmas based though, is it? No,
it's not. But it's a nice little film. I really enjoyed it. I think they did well with that sequel.
Yes. What's your take on the sort of the more left wing take on Christmas films? Not left wing, the left field. I mean, like Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, etc. Films that are at Christmas but are not actually anything to do with Christmas, but have a Christmas setting.
Yeah, well, I think, some of the films you've mentioned here don't really fall into like all of these films really. It's just because it's set at a time of year. I mean, you couldn't say Gremlins is actually a Christmas film. You couldn't really say Better Watch Out, which I've championed, is a Christmas film. It just happens to be set at that time.
Yeah, but I mean, those films you tend to want to watch at Christmas, really, don't you? I mean, there's not a massive market. You're not going to sit in July and say, I think I'm going to watch a bit of Krampus. Are you? Or are you?
I think I actually
probably did. Well, I'll tell you what, the biggies that I've not seen, that I have, but I've not watched, that are just sitting there on the shelf, like a million other films.
Yep.
Are Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah, I need to get involved in that. And Black Christmas.
Oh, what? You've not seen them?
I actually,
wow.
I'm going to actually hang my captain's hat up and maybe hand over the reins.
I think you should.
Maybe I'll be the log boy.
Yeah, I think Black Christmas is classic. Absolutely no question about it. Again, it's one of those things. They're older films. No, they are old. Let's be honest. They're like fucking 30 years old.
Totally.
I would recommend both of those. Just get involved, and they're kind of early. If you like slasher films, you'll be into them.
Oh, I love a wee slasher film.
Without question.
Love it.
Absolutely. Same as Silent Night, Deadly Night. Absolutely worth watching. Again, tenuous Christmas. I mean, as I said, any of these films we've mentioned, they just happen to be set at Christmas.
Were they?
Apart from obviously Krampus is very that is a Christmas kind of thing.
Were they originally? Surely they were marketed at being released at Christmas though, for the Christmas market. Where were they?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, actually, going back to that episode on Holidays is one of the most Christmassy ones, because it is about a guy trying to buy his son a gift for Christmas. But yeah, a lot of them are just happen to be at Christmas, which is fine. Takes the horror out of your Christmas life and transplants it onto the screen for a few hours or whatever. But yeah. Would you recommend? Have you got a favourite Christmas horror?
Do you know what I think? After watching it for the first time just the other night, I would say that Christmas Evil is definitely up there. Absolute stormer. And I would also say Rare Exports. Fantastic. I've not seen it for a few years now, actually, but absolutely fantastic. I don't know if it's been released on Blue over here, actually.
I'm not looked into that, I must admit.
Bit of a misstep if it's not, but absolutely brilliant. Finnish effort, isn't it? It's Finnish. Is it Finnish? I think it's Finnish.
Yep,
yeah, belter.
I think so.
But then again,
some places
obviously Gremlins is a classic, and I love Jack Frost as well. I think I'm basically going to have a little sort of a little pool of Christmas horror films on rotation.
Yep, I think I'm going to choose a favourite, and it's going to be absolutely straight down the line and obvious as fuck. But it's Gremlins.
It's a classic, absolute classic.
Unfortunately, it is on Blue, but a Blu-ray that is almost no significant quality over the DVD.
Well, they just copied the DVD onto a Blu-ray.
I just don't know what they did with it. I mean, if anything deserves a proper treatment, it's got to be that film. Surely to God. Joe Dante, the fucking peak of his powers. All I ask is, is it Universal? I think I can't remember who it is, but for God's sake, Universal. Sort yourselves out. Get a good release of that sorted out. For God, I will buy it. Don't give me some horse shit.
I might actually, when we finish recording this, go and get it on the old projector as well.
Yeah, well, I might just watch it on the telly.
Fall asleep and then just fall asleep on the sofa and then get woken up in the morning on the sofa by a child.
By a child at 4.
Totally. Fucking magic.
Yeah.
Happy days. Excellent. Well, I think that brings this little mini festive episode to a close.
I think it does.
Looking forward to Santa tonight. I hope he doesn't murder me in my sleep like he tends to do in a lot of these films.
Well, he does. He's obviously not a very nice guy. And I think our listeners are old enough to now hear that he doesn't exist.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? I was out earlier on tonight and saw in action out for a meal, local restaurant, and at like 6 o'clock or something they turned all the lights off in the restaurant, so it was dark, and they started playing Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and a genuinely massive dude dressed as Santa came in, walked round all the tables shouting ho 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 at all the children, and the kids were fucking losing their minds. It was insanity. They were going ballistic everywhere, every table, kids going mad, and they were just like, holy fuck, Santa's taking time out to stop by an Italian restaurant in the Borders. It was incredible.
Because he's obviously not busy enough.
Santa was rumoured to have been seen necking a pint of San Miguel before he left as well. Unbelievable. Totally.
Well, that's Brexit for you. Even Santa's
get the Spanish beer down you before we can't drink it anymore. We won't be able to drink it. No, God.
No,
God.
it'll be dead to us. God, great times.
Thanks for listening, listeners, and we will be back with another mini episode for Hogmanay, as we call it in Scotland. For listeners around the world, that will be New Year's Eve. Thanks for listening. You've been a great audience, as always. And here's to happy holidays for everyone. Very happy Christmas indeed.
Absolutely. I will sign off and say happy Christmas. Get past it as
and
well
we'll
as you can.
see you on Hogmanay. Thanks, guys.
See you on the other side. Cheerio.